Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's the warmest night of the weekend. That's really true. It is the warmest night of the weekend. But we'll bring in the warmth of Shabbat for all of us, and we'll begin on page number 129. The very top of the page, some words from Shir HaShirim. As we talk about the idea of the Shabbat bride, and we sing these songs of this beautiful love song from Shir HaShirim. Dodi vani lo haroeh bashoshani Dodi vani lo haroeh bashoshani Dodi mizotola min hamidbar mizotola min hamidbar Dodi bani lo haroeh bashoshani Dodi mikuteret mor Boru levona Dodi vani lo haroeh bashoshani Dodi livatini achoti chala Dodi vani lo haroeh bashoshani Dodi uri tzafon uvoi teman Dodi vani lo haroeh bashoshani Dodi. Page 129, another love song of the Shabbat bride, the middle of page 128. Yidid nefesh av harachaman Yidid nefesh av harachaman Mishocha avdecha El ritzonecha Mishocha avdecha La 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 El ritzonecha Yarutz avdecha Kemo ayar Yishtachave ya la 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 El bul hadarecha Yidid nefesh av harachaman Yidid nefesh av harachaman שוכבתך אל רצונך משוכבתך לי 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 אל רצונך ירוץ עבדך כמו הים ישתחווה לה 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 אל גבול הדרך. Page 120. We'll find our blessing for kindling our Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue as we welcome the Shabbat bride as we make our way through Kabbalat Shabbat, beginning with Psalm 95 on page 130. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. Naria, naria, l'tzur yishenu, nikadma fanav v'toda. Naria, naria, l'tzur yishenu, v'zmirot nerialo. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. From Psalm 196 on page 131, the bottom paragraph, all of God's creation giving thanks for their existence in the world. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. From Psalm 97, the bottom of page 132. Light is planted for those who are righteous, and happiness is granted to those who are good-hearted. Or zaru alat sadiq yishrei lev simcha, 4 lines from the bottom of the page. Or zaru alat sadiq yishrei lev simcha. Or zaru alat sadiq yishrei lev simcha. Or zaru alat sadiq yishrei lev simcha. Yishrei lev simcha. Or zaru alat sadiq yishrei lev simcha. Yishrei lev simcha. Lai 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 Or zarua latzadi u'yishrei lev simcha Or zarua latzadi u'yishrei lev simcha. We'll read together from the English of that psalm at the top of 133. Adonai is sovereign, let the earth exult, the many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around God, righteousness and justice are at the base of God's throne. O you who love Adonai, hate evil. God guards the lives of God's loyal ones, saving them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. Let's turn to page number 135. Psalm 99, near the bottom of the psalm. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain. I'm sorry, I'm distracted from a notice that just came to me. Let me take care of that for a moment. For those of you who are watching on templeshalom.com, and for those of you who are watching on our Temple Shalom YouTube page, for some reason, I have just been told that the camera is on this podium. So if you've been wondering at home, if you're watching our service at home, and you've been wondering why you've been staring at an empty podium, it's because we didn't know that you were watching an empty podium. So for your sake for now, I'll lead one prayer from over here, and then I'll go back over there, and we'll see if they fix the camera. I don't know if they will or they won't, but I need to remember what page I'm on. Page 135, the bottom of the page. And so that you people at home can see me for a moment, I'll stand over here. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. If you'll turn the page, and maybe my home reporter will let me know if the camera makes its way to the entire bima, which it should. We're going to continue on page 137. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow on God's people well-being. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Lai 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 Adonai oz ne'amo yitain yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Adonai oz ne'amo yitain yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Lai 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 lai. Lai 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 Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Huh. Well, just so the people who are watching from home don't feel left out, I'm going to move over here for the rest of the service because apparently, from what I'm being told from my secret reporter at home, that the camera is showing, I'll tell you, like usually the camera for our service, it shows the entire bima on a Friday night and a Saturday morning. Right now the camera is starting right here and it goes all the way to over here. That's the picture that the people at home are watching. So we won't make you, those of you who are at home, we will not make you stare at an empty podium for the whole night. Although that would be kind of funny, but instead I think we'll lead the service from over here and we'll let all of you who are at home actually see a real live person here. And so we'll make that happen. And we'll continue with the Chadodi as we will welcome the Shabbat bride to this half of the bima apparently, but not that half of the bima. So page 138 and 139. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad Shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet ve'letchila lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machsheva tehila. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Verse number 5. Hit'oreri, hit'oreri, ki ba'orech kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. We rise, we face the door as we greet the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. We greeted the Shabbat bride. We'll greet each other. We'll greet the people at home, so because you can see me now. And take a moment, huh? The what? No, but that one's on back there. Yeah. And Trina, greet your neighbors. Look at this.
Well, that's great.
That's what it's showing right now.
Okay. Cool.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of weird. don't know why that's a thing, but apparently it's a thing.
It'll be fine.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are joining us online as well. Wonderful that we're able to greet each other for this Shabbat. And we'll turn to page number 140 as we now continue on in our service with Psalm 92. For Psalm 92, we will continue to welcome in Shabbat. We say, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Let us sing a song of Shabbat. Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai. It is good to sing, to give thanks to God. U'Lezamer, and to sing L'Shimcha Elyon, to God's name Most High. Psalm 92, page 140. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. L'Hagid B'Boker Chastecha. Ve'emunatecha b'leilot. Alei Asor. Ve'aleina ve'lalei. Higayon v'chidot. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Yisimchtani Adonai b'fo'lecha. B'maaseh yadecha aranim. Ma gadlu ma'asecha Adonai. Me'od amku machshevotecha. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. U'Lezamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Page 142. Shalom Aleichem. We speak of the angels who come and protect our soul on this Shabbat. May they come in peace. May they bless us in peace. And may they go in peace. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bo'achem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Yid Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Yid Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei HaMalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yalalala 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 Shalom Alechem, Malachei Shari, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We move from our Kabbalat Shabbat into our Ma'ariv service with Chatzi Kaddish, page 144. Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Damad yivrach Yerutev yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala, ba'agala, uv'izman kahari v'imeru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam al'amei almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Yitbar, Vitramam, Vitnaseh, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shemei du Kudusha, Burichu le'ilam, and Koberchata, Vishirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiron be'alma, V'imeru, Amen. We rise, page 146. As we invite ourselves to prayer with Baruch Hu. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach Eolam Va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach Eolam Va'ed. We can be seated. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans into infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praised are you, God, from whom the evening flows. Lai, 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 page 148. Lai, 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. B'chokhma poteach sha'arim, u'betbuna mishane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'misader et ha'kochavim, b'mishmerotehem barak yekitzono. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, lai, lai. la 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 la. Bore yom velayla, golel o mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom nevi layla, uma'avdil ben yom uven layla, Adonai tziva'ot shemo. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu, le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'arif Aravim. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. We give thanks for the Torah and its gifts of knowledge and its gifts of advice and its pathways for our lives with Ahavat Olam on page 150. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shocheinu u'b'tnunim Nasiach b'chukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו ובהם נגד יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממני לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Everlasting God, you offer your people Israel to teach us Torah with its mitzvot, its laws, its concepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people, Israel. Page 152 and 153. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta abam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvish arecha, leman tizkeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kidoshim le'loechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem, me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, emet. We come to the Geula, our prayer of freedom. In our Torah portion, we'll talk about it in just a few more minutes. In our Torah portion, we are getting into the story of our freedom from Egypt. This week, we begin the 10 plagues. We only talk about 7 of them. We'll talk about 3 of them next week. But we begin the process that leads to our redemption from our slavery in Egypt, from its narrow places in which we were enslaved. And with that idea in mind, we read responsibly on page 157 as we think about the idea of freedom and redemption. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory, the earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way, inspired by prophets and instructed by sages. Time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let's continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace, and shall they rejoice as Israel did. Sing with this hymn. Page 158, we sing a joyful melody of those ancient words that we'll read very soon, in just another couple of weeks that we have along the way in our Torah reading cycle. Yai lai lai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha ne'edar b'kodesh. Norah tehilot osefele. Norah tehilot osefele. Malachutecha ra'u vanecha, Okei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Ve'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 la, Yai lai 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 lai. Ya lai 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 lai, ya lai lai lai, ya lai 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 lai. V'ne'emar, Ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugoalo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai. Go'al Yisrael. Page 160. Grant us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth and prepare for us as we return. And spread over us a shelter of your peace. Top of page 160. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom. third line of the prayer. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. The last three lines. Baruch atah Adonai Haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162. A reminder to all of us to watch over Shabbat. For in 6 days God made the heavens and the earth. And on the seventh day, God ceased from all the work. Gave us the idea of refreshing our souls. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam B'ni uvein B'nei Yisrael Oti Le'olam Yisheshet Yamin Asa Adonai Et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz u'yom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbat vayinafa Shabbat Shabbat vayinafa Shameru Shabbat Shabbat vayinafa Shameru Shabbat Shabbat vayinafa. As we turn to page 164, and I'll rise for the Amidah. As we stand both together and individually, as we stand face to face before God. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chaste Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, U'Morid Haga Hashem, Mechalkel Chayim V'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido melach, melech rinit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol, baruch ata Adonai, v'chaye hakol, ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah, baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue silently through page 180 and 181 in the Hebrew and the English, or your own personal prayers when you're finished. Please be seated. Page 178. Prayer for peace. Shalom Raha al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Raha al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael v'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. take a moment to think of those who are in need of healing. We ask God to bring refuah shlema, complete healing. Bimhera v'yameinu, may it come speedily. To Gnendel Batsima, Fran Hart, Aharon ben Abraham Vasara, Stanley Sachs, Lisa Stark, Rose Dymek, Lucas Bartelt, Janice Broder, Malka Batsara, Bob Bell, Lisa Lead, Merle Haber, Shoshana Batilana, Barala Yaakov ben Abraham Shalom, Margaret Patrick, Lynn Severson, Sheila Bacole, Sidonia Bennett, Susan Schenk, Ruvain ben Shlomo Mordechai Vitzipora, Rachel Howell, Trudy Ishvitz-Brodsky, Ron Maxwell, David Zimmerman, and Kathy Twerdock. Are there any other names that anybody would like to include for prayers of healing? We'll start, I just got to get my bearings so I stay on camera. We'll start on that side of the room. Thank you. Any others on this side of the room? On this side of the room, names for healing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any others? Thank you. Any others? For all those we've named and for all those in need, may God bring them healing of body, healing of mind, healing of soul. May it come to them as quickly as possible. Mi she'ebera avoteinu mikor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi she'ebera imoteinu mikor habracha leavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. This week we are reading from Parashat Va'era. It is the second Torah portion in the book of Exodus. Yeah, I don't like all that stuff there. It blocks my view from everybody. I'm going to talk from over here. This is so much better. That one's lower, this one. All right. We have those things. Forget it. We're here. Parashat Va'era, this week's Torah portion. It's the beginning of the story of the plagues. The story of the plagues is long enough that it actually goes into next week. And it's divided up, I think, because, we get the big one. Spoiler alert, people die next week. They don't die this week, but, if you haven't seen the movie, that's what happened. Sorry to wreck the movie for you. But the movie wrecked the Torah. And what do I mean by the movie wrecked the Torah? They got it all wrong. That Cecil B. DeMille guy, great director, all that good stuff, messed up all kinds of things in the story. But that happens a lot in Hollywood. You get the book, and then they give you the movie, and the stuff in the movie, it doesn't quite match up with the book, and it causes problems. Now, if you're making some, murder mystery novel into a movie, the problems aren't so big. But if you're taking the Torah and making it into a movie, and we're supposed to get some lessons from the Torah, if your point of reference is the movie, sometimes we have a problem with the lessons from the Torah. That's one of the things that happens this particular week. Now, we know that there were 10 plagues. And we know before there were 10 plagues, God is talking to Moses and Aaron, complete with stage directions and everything. God stages the whole deal. Pharaoh's going to harden his heart. This is exactly how it's going to happen. Aaron, you're not going to do stuff until Moses tells you to do it. God sets up the whole story. So they go before the Pharaoh. We'd like you to let us go into the wilderness to go pray to our God. Just like 3 days hiking, that's all. We're not going to go far. Just 3 days in the wilderness, go pray to our God. We'll be back after 3 more days. It's a week off. It's like a vacation thing. I know you don't give vacations to slaves, but we're asking for just one. 3 days into the wilderness, a day there to pray on Shabbat, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll hike into the wilderness. Saturday will be our Shabbat. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we'll hike back. Wednesday, we'll be back building pyramids or whatever it is that we're building back then. Now, of course, Pharaoh, it doesn't tell us this in the Torah, but Pharaoh, of course, is going to have a bad reaction because let us go out into the wilderness to worship our God. Pharaoh's reaction, which it doesn't say in the Torah, is, I am your God. I'm Pharaoh. I'm God. Why would I let you go pray to some fake deity out in the wilderness? So my answer is no. Moses and Aaron are not surprised because God already told Moses and Aaron the answer would be no. And so now they do the cool magic trick to show what's going on. And here's where Cecil B. DeMille, we have a problem. Because Aaron throws the staff, he's got a big stick, he throws it down on the ground, and it turns into a crocodile. That's right, it turns into a crocodile. I think I'm the only one in the room who said crocodile. But here's the thing. In the movie, it turns into a snake, right? And it does say in the Torah that it turns into a snake. But 3 verses before that, it doesn't use the word nachash, because the word nachash means snake, okay? But 3 verses before that, it says, you will throw the snake down on the ground, and it will turn into a tanin. And a tanin is a crocodile. Now, why is it important that it's not a snake and a crocodile, and I'm complaining about Mr. DeMille's movie? Well, the answer is this. It's very important that we know that it turned into both a snake and a crocodile. I'm not sure how it turned into both of them, but 1 verse it says crocodile, and 3 verses later it says snake. And then it tells us a few verses later that Aaron's tanin, it says crocodile, that it's a snake, and then it goes back to tanin again, and it says his tanin, crocodile. It also means alligator in Hebrew, because chassin means crocodile. Alligator in modern Hebrew is alligator. That's really what it is. But the word tanin means both an alligator and a crocodile, but in this case it's more likely a crocodile. Why is that? Because there's crocodiles in the Nile and there's not alligators in the Nile, so that's why crocodile makes more sense. It would be weird if an alligator showed up, because there's no alligators in the Nile, only crocodiles. But throw your stick down, it'll become a crocodile. And so he throws his stick down and it becomes a snake, and then Aaron's crocodile eats the crocodiles that Pharaoh's magicians make to be on the ground next to it from their staffs that they throw down, and they become crocodiles as well. Crocodile, snake, crocodile, crocodiles then eat other crocodiles, and Pharaoh goes, whatever, and he walks away. That's what it says. He walked right, he looked, it was nothing, and he went back to the palace. That's the actual Hebrew. In modern language, we translate that as Pharaoh said, and he walked away and went back home. But why is it important that I know which animal's which? I think the reason is this, that in the Cecil B. DeMille version, in the version that most of us know, this is a cool little magic trick that Aaron does, and then the magicians do the cool magic trick, and his snake eats the other snakes, and Pharaoh's not impressed, and then this is why we need to have 10 plagues. I'm not impressed by that story. A magician made a snake, and another magician made a snake, and the one snake ate the other snake. But when it tells me that it turns into a crocodile, and then it turns into a snake, which is also a crocodile, it tells me something, because I know from Egyptian history and folklore that there are 2 Egyptian gods that live in and around the Nile. Do you want to guess what 2 animals those gods have as their heads? A snake and a crocodile. So this story is not just that Aaron has a snake that eats another snake. This is Aaron throws down a version of an Egyptian god, and then Pharaoh's magicians throw down on the ground a rendition of an Egyptian god. And Aaron's god eats the Egyptian god. This is not just a little show to lead into the plagues. This is the beginning of the power struggle. The Israelite god ate the Egyptian god. This is much grander than my magic snake ate your magic snake, my magic alligator ate your magic alligator. It's a little animal trick that we could see at the zoo, right? If you go to the zoo at the right time, they feed the python little other animals, and you can watch the python eat the other animals, and you say, yay, I went to the zoo, I'm not so impressed. But if my God eats your God, you better be impressed. And I think it's not for Pharaoh, this moment in the story in the Torah. I think it's for the Israelites. Because Pharaoh's not impressed, he walks away. But the Israelites, whose God has abandoned them for 400 years of slavery, so they think, they need some convincing as well. God will call them many, many times in the Torah a stiff-necked people. They're stubborn. I don't know if you know any stubborn Jews. I've met a couple. But in this story, God realizes that after 400 years of slavery, they're going to be stubborn. They're going to be critics of this God of Moses. And who's Moses anyway? He was here for 40 years, but now he's been in Saudi Arabia for 40 years. That's where Midian, his wife is a Midianite, and his father-in-law Jethro, a Midianite. Midian is in Saudi Arabia, modern-day Saudi Arabia. He took off from Egypt. He bailed out of here. He's been in Saudi Arabia for 40 years. We barely remember the guy. Anybody who's over the age of 40 in the room remember people that you knew 40 years ago? And if you do, is your list longer than 2 or 3 people? Not so much, right? We don't remember all those people from way back when, especially if we haven't talked to them in 40 years and haven't thought about them in 40 years. And all of a sudden, Moses shows up on the scene again. He comes in to talk to Pharaoh. Pharaoh says, no, you can't go pray to your God. But the Israelites are watching also. And they're stubborn. And so they need to see the power struggle. They see Sobek. Sobek is the Egyptian god who has a crocodile head. Sobek climbs out of the river, from what they can see, out of the Nile, and eats the other Sobek. Sobek's an important god. Without Sobek, there's no food. Because Sobek controls the Nile. And if the Nile doesn't overflow every year, it doesn't bring water out to the crops, and it doesn't bring the silt from the bottom of the Nile so that you have the best dirt to grow your crops in. And so if Sobek dies, how is the river going to overflow? How are the plants going to get watered, and how are they going to get nutrients from the soil if there's no Sobek? But yet there are plants that grow because the Israelite Sobek eats the Egyptian Sobek and still lets the things grow. It's a way of saying to the Israelites, watch what happens for a while, you stubborn people, because I'm going to convince you as well as the Egyptians that we have a pathway to follow. That's God's message to the Israelites in this Torah portion this week, in this part of the story. I know you're stubborn. Don't be so stubborn. Sometimes your point of view might be wrong. Your point of view might be so far off that nobody can see it, like nobody online can see me now, right? But if we lose a little bit of our stubbornness, we can find the right pathway forward. People ask this question. The rabbis asked it a lot in medieval commentaries. If God is so powerful, why didn't God just pick up the Israelites and leave? Who needs plagues if you're God? right? We don't need any plagues. Who cares if Pharaoh suffers or doesn't suffer? The Israelites are done. God grabs them, puts them back in Israel. End of story. The book of Exodus is a lot shorter. But God knows that we're stubborn. And so God brings these plagues not only for the Egyptians, but for the stubborn Israelites who won't believe that there's this powerful God who can help them on their pathway through life. And so, Sobek eating Sobek, the crocodile god eating the crocodile god. This is the beginning of the show for the Israelites to say, don't be so stubborn. There's a good pathway forward. If you'll just follow the ideas, the mitzvot, the derech, the pathway that I've given to you. But God knows that we're stubborn. I think God knew we were going to wander through the desert for 40 years before the plagues ever started. The Torah tells us that we wandered for 40 years because we doubted God. But I don't think that doubt started in the wilderness. I think it started with the generations in Egypt. So this was the beginning of God's way of saying, don't be so stubborn. Your ways might not be the right ways. Your answer might not be the right answer. If you put your faith in this book that I will give you out in the desert, you'll find some pathways that will lead you in the right direction. And if you're stubborn, you won't go in that direction. But I'm going to give you the choice. At the end of the Torah, God says, I give you the choice, life or death, blessing or the curse. And then God says, choose the blessing. Too often, we choose the curse. Why do we choose the curse? Because the wrong way is usually easier than the right way. But the wrong way doesn't lead us to where we need to go, but it sure seems easier at the beginning. So God begins with a little convincing. Next week, we'll get the ultimate convincing when we have the final plague. But this week, we begin with a little show. It's not just about magic tricks and snakes. It's about that God is more powerful than the Egyptian God. And prove that with a showdown of the two crocodile gods right in front of Pharaoh and in front of all of Egypt. God saying to us, don't be so stubborn. And if you're still going to be stubborn, pay attention for a little while longer, and maybe I'll convince you to not be so stubborn. It's the lesson that we should learn every time we study Torah. All the kids in our religious schools, not just this one, all the religious schools, they all know better than the teachers in their classrooms. Just ask them, they'll tell you, because they've told me. Because they're stubborn. Why? It's human nature. But God tells us, don't be so stubborn. There's a pathway forward if you'll just pay attention, open your eyes, and maybe change your perspective a little bit. For you at home, we changed it from over there to over here. But for all of us, it's a little call to look at the perspective that might not be the one that we always see, and in that we might just find a better way forward. I pray that we all find that path for ourselves, for our community, and for all the world. Amen. We'll come to the concluding prayers of our service as we turn to page 586. We'll rise for Aleinu. It's at the very bottom of the page. Aleinu d'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gdula liyotzeh b'reishit, shelo asanu kugoyei haratzot, velo samanu mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahen, v'gor aleinu Bechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim ve'yoser haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchinatu zo, Begove meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efesu Lato, Kakatu B'Torato, Yadata Hayom V'Hashevota Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hua Elohim, Bashamayim Mima'al, Ve'al ha'aretz, Mitachat Einod, middle of page 590. Ki ha'malchut shelcha hi olmei timloch bechavod, kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar, v'ya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz, Bayom hahu, Ye Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Ushemo echad. We can all be seated. In our yard sites this week, we recall the memories of Betty Mullen, Harold Bernard, James Cook, Sadie Freeman, Jean Gillick, Edward Fields, Edward Laberwitt, Fran Ader, Jacob Fine, Esther Salzman, Goldie Berlin, Hilda Zimmerman, Ida Katz, Irving Goodman, Morris Rayfield, Roy Funel, Azaria Chumash, Betty Waldbaum, Eddie Fuhr, Herman Charles, Rose Warhoff Scherbel, Ann Goodstein, Celia Galiff, Diesel Sugarman, George Schwartz, Joseph Katz, and Raymond Mertz. We also remember the recent passing of Rebecca Sidman, mother of Mike Sidman, and of Tehila Oxenhandler, mother of David Oxenhandler. Do you have any other yard sites that anyone is observing this week? Yehu Zichronam Levracha, may their memories be an eternal blessing. We ask mourners to rise and those whose custom it is to stand with them. As we turn in our Siddur to page 598, in their memory we sanctify God's name. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'rechu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, te'amiran v'alma v'yimru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. You can all be seated. Before we bring our service to a close, Maggie, do you have announcements? There we go. We'll invite Maggie Riggs from our board of directors to come up and share with us a few announcements of stuff upcoming soon. I don't know if there's a lot on there, but there's upcoming stuff.
There is stuff coming up. Good evening and Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
You're very welcome to be here, and we're glad to see you. If you're new or visiting, please, snag somebody and introduce yourself. We would love to meet you, and it's always a pleasant gift for us to have visitors as well as people that reoccur. So thank you for coming. As always, thank you, Rabbi Jay Sherwood, for bringing some light into the darkness for all of us, especially after the week that some of us have probably had. Support Temple Shalom with our increased security expenses. As you may have noticed, we have 2 security guards now instead of the one that we had before. That, of course, is an increased cost. So if you feel the need to donate or the urge to donate or would like to donate at all, please go on to the portal and add a donation. On a personal note, the Oneg Mavens, of which I am one, are looking for some new mavens to add to the Maven flock, if you will. Please join if you are here on Saturdays, Fridays on a regular basis, and you partake of the amazing food and snacks that we have out. They do not occur in a vacuum. And if you're here and you partake, if you feel the need to join, which would be wonderful and be a gift for us, then we would definitely want you to do so. You can contact the office to sign up and add your name to the list.
And there will also be beginning, I should be on camera for people over there.
Yes.
There, I think I'm on the edge of the screen now. For those who receive our weekly newsletter, there will be an online sign up beginning on Tuesday in the weekly newsletter to join in on our ownings on Friday night. We'd like to continue to grow the number of people who are joining us, and what we want to do is get to a place where every week we have an onig that's sponsored by somebody in honor of a birth, a birthday, an anniversary, an engagement, a graduation, any kind of happy kind of thing going on, in memory of someone who has died, an important person. It's a yard site, and we're remembering them. Just because you think it's great because you like this particular Friday. That's another good reason, too.
Always a good reason.
And Judy, were you going to add something? Were you saying? There's a sign-up sheet now. You could sign up tonight. And tonight, I think, Trudy and Judy both have helped with our owning tonight, so thank you to both of you. And we really want to increase the number of people that are participating in that. Otherwise, we just have a plate with a couple of cookies on it, and that's no fun, because we need more than just a plate of a couple of cookies. We need a full dinner of desserts or something like that. So there we go. Keep on going. Yeah.
Excellent. And we do have some events to look forward to this month. We have Israeli dancing, Havdalah, and dessert, which is back on for Saturday, January 20th at 4:30, with Havdalah after the dancing, which is about 6 p.m. The Jewish film series is back in town. If you remember, you've probably got the postcard. So this is a reminder. The first event is Sunday, January 28th at 4:30. Registration is $10 per person. There will be discussion, wine and cheese after viewing the 4 short films. Sponsorship of the series is available. If you're interested, please contact the office. And you can also register for the event at templeshalom.com. The program committee on Sunday, February 4th, is having a chamber music concert. Performers include several of our Temple Shalom members, so come out and support folks. That's always wonderful. The concert starts at 3 p.m. with admission is $10 per person. For adult attendee, I should clarify. Post-concert delights will be provided by the program committee as usual. Please register at templeshalom.com. The lunch club is currently on hiatus for January, but the Food, Friends, Fiber, and Fun group will continue to meet every Wednesday from noon until 1:30. You are bringing your own food and your crafts. It's basically a chance to hang out, talk to everybody, and really connect with the community. If you know anyone that is ill, suffering a loss, who needs our support in any way, please contact the office. We do like to have those opportunities to reach out and really reconnect with people that may be just having a hard time. So thank you so much for the Oneg Mavens of this evening. Appreciate everything that you do. And Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much.
Shabbat Shalom. Additionally, our conversion cohort is restarting on Thursday evening, January 25th, and we'll be meeting on Thursday evenings in this upcoming season right here. We're going to end our service with a little prayer for peace. You all know these words, but oh wow. I'll just throw some mechanical stuff around. You know most of these words, or all of these words, and they're in the Siddur a whole bunch of times, but they start with Osei Shalom. Oh, I'm falling apart up here. Oh my goodness, let's see here. Okay, there we go. Maybe we're together. It's a curse because the camera's pointing in the wrong direction. That's what the problem is. But it's all solved now. There we go. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 Bimru amen. And I guess just one other announcement that we should make for any of you who are here or at home who have religious school kids. There's no religious school this weekend because it is a long weekend for the Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. So if you show up here on Sunday morning, you will not only be alone, but you will also be very, very cold. So it's going to be, because you'll be outside and you won't be in the building. That's why you'll be. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us for Kiddush Motzi in the back of the room. For those of you at home, next week we'll be back on the whole Bima, and Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Huh? Yeah.